Good afternoon, my friends, and welcome to today's edition of NWCR's Removing the Liberal Blindfold for this Thursday, the 3rd day of September in the year of our Lord 2020. From Breitbart News comes this one, headlined, Nolte. Washington Post says election will end in violence unless Biden wins landslide. The far-left Washington Post blackmailed the country Thursday with a threat framed as analysis that says only a landslide victory for Joe Biden can save us from violence. I say there is another way, but here is the story. Because the Post piece is both fake news and irresponsible, I'm not going to compound those sins by linking it here. The Post's tweet advertising the piece, which I also won't link, sums up the threat perfectly. The election will likely spark violence and a constitutional crisis. The tweet reads, "In every scenario except a Biden landslide, our simulation ended catastrophically." Only a Biden landslide can save America from a national catastrophe. In other words, that's a nice country you have there. Be a shame if anything happened to it. The Post's bald-faced threat is couched in a piece of analysis that does not even attempt to be serious, especially in a country where, as I write this, countless Democrat-run cities are on fire thanks to Black Lives Matter and Antifa, two left-wing terrorist groups who operate as brown shirts for the Demonorat Party and the media outlets like the Washington Post, who regularly encourage and protect these domestic terrorists. Even more ludicrous, the Post's threats is only made possible by way of its cherry-picking of so-called experts. They make it sound so official sounding. President Trump has broken countless norms and ignored countless laws during his time in office, and while my colleagues and I at the Transition Integrity Project didn't want to lie awake at night contemplating the ways the American experiment could fail, we realized that identifying the most serious risks to our democracy might be the best way to avert a November disaster. So we built a series of war games, sought out some of the most accomplished Republicans, Democrats, civil servants, media pollsters, and strategists around, and asked them to imagine what they do in a range of election and transition scenarios. A landslide for Joe Biden resulted in a relatively orderly transfer of power. Every other scenario we looked at involved street-level violence and political crisis. And now to remove the liberal blindfold here, folks. I swear, I am not making that up. I know that it sounds like something made up, especially something like a Transition Integrity Project operating in the same Washington Post hellhole that led the fake news propaganda jihad for the Russian collusion hoax coup plotters. But it is all real. Look it up if you don't believe me. Anyway, the Transitional Integrity Project's war games are staffed only with ringers. It's amazing that they actually use the words war games. But anyway, the so-called accomplished Republicans are all rhino Trump haters who are bitter, half-witted, and off their rockers. Michael Steele, Bill Kristol, and Trey Grayson, to name a few. While on the other side, there are only Biden loyalists, John Podesta, Donna Brazile, and Jennifer Granholm. There is not even one disgruntled Bernie bro. So the Transition Integrity Project asked 6 people who absolutely hate Trump something about Donald Trump, and the answer is not looking so good for our president. So Transition Integrity Project sounds more like a transitional rigged project to me, where the election is rigged to get Biden to win. No wonder they all want mail-in ballots so badly. The best way to stop this insanity in the left and the media is to elect Trump in a landslide and then make everyone follow the laws on the books. We have rioters, throw them in jail for 10 years. I bet a few end up in prison for a while. Others will think twice before running up to someone of a different color and demand things that are illegal and unjust. That is not what has allowed this so far. So far, it has just been allowed. It's time to stop it completely. And all we need to do is start following the laws and start enforcing the laws. Thank you all for joining me today, and as a friend of mine used to always say, we will not be ruled, and we have to start refusing to allow that, folks. This is Robert the Infidel, and I will see you all again on Monday. And remember, NWCR's Removing the Liberal Blindfold is brought to you through Conservative Nation Media, where America always wins. Tomorrow is my Friday show on Blog Talk Radio. Have a blessed weekend.